Okay, you're recording.
Okay. Oh, what do I say?
See, and this is why I have to edit things.
Well, this is why we need a script. I don't need
a script. We're supposed to just be talking.
Well, what are we supposed to talk about?
Slide this over. What do you want to talk about?
I want to know what our listeners want to talk about.
They don't want to hear crap from us.
Then why are they listening?
Because they know who we are and they want to hear what we have to say. No, I think realistically, what was the purpose of this podcast? Of us doing a podcast together?
I needed a hobby.
You needed a hobby. 10 kids didn't give you enough of a hobby?
I'm done having babies, so that hobby's kind of over.
That's true. No sex from now on.
Ah! Don't say that word.
Okay. Won't say that word. So we're at 1:05. So if anybody's listened this long, they've got a lot of pauses. They probably hear kids in the background.
They can tell we're newbies and have no idea what we're doing.
So what are we going to discuss in our podcast?
Well, I'm thinking, we need to figure out what we're going to call our podcast.
Okay. So we can start there.
And
which I plan to post a Facebook poll to kind of say.
I like the Caraway Chronicles.
Okay. I like Casting Your Cares Away.
That's cute.
But I use that for a lot of stuff. So, because it's a play on words and I'm always doing that. So what else?
And then I want to talk about, maybe parenting, children, marriage, boundaries, religion,
spirituality, theology.
Yeah. Just
oncology. That's a joke.
I hope we don't have to talk about oncology.
No, I don't even really know what. Is that the butt one?
Ew, no.
Which one
it's
is that?
Cancer. That's so scary.
Yeah, nobody needs to talk about that. We don't have to. So
unless we go through it.
We can talk about waking up in the morning and having feet problems before anything else happens. Because I'm old.
I have back problems.
As everyone likes to remind me at work. All right, so let me say this. I did, kind of set up the episode info. And under the description, I put, of course, I named it Cast Your Cares Away.
So you named it.
Yeah, I did. But we can poll, see if Chronicles goes further. But it's a husband and she's eating McDonald's if you hear her chewing.
Oh.
Is it a McDouble or a single?
No, I never get double. Remember, I don't like doubles. It was a double and I pulled the other patty off.
Yeah. She has an apple pie, a cheeseburger, and is that a Coke? I know it's not Diet Coke. You don't like those.
It's a Coke with a kid fry. I'm hungry, okay?
Yeah, and a Coke. And then it was a double and she pulled the other piece of meat off and it's sitting in the cup holder thing?
Drink carrier.
The 4-cup carrier, yeah. All right, anyways. So husband and wife podcast where love and chaos collide. Together we dive into the ups and downs of marriage, faith, and family life, all while navigating the whirlwind adventure of raising 10 kids. With humor, honesty, and heart, we invite you to share in our journey and discover what it truly means to cast your cares away. And
AI wrote that for you.
No, AI did not write that for me.
What?
Gosh. AI doesn't do everything. And when I use AI, it's normally like, and we can talk about AI for a minute. It's more like I ask it questions and then it gives me its opinion. So it's not like, hey, do this. It's more like, hey, help me understand this. And then it provides, a little bit of
I'm still learning
background to it. You're still learning how to use a rotary phone. No?
I'm doing better with my technology.
That's true. This is true. So, anyhow, I categorize the podcast as a parenting podcast.
Okay.
Because I didn't like the other options.
And we like to talk about our kids.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we do have 10 of them. So, there's plenty to talk about if we wanted to talk about them. So, anyhow, what do you think? What do you got?
Well, can we talk about kid number 2 today? Because it's late. I'm tired. That's why I'm
CG?
eating. Oh, we're going for the initials.
Oh, you can just say Cameron if you want. I gave away the secret name. Come on. I mean, you gave her a Instagram so she can post things. Yes, I think it's okay to think. It's not like anyone listening to this knows anyone else. So, yes, we'll talk about Cameron today. She had a
Championship game.
yes for
Or-
flag football.
And her team won. So now they're going to go to districts.
They played the Forest Wildcats
My alumni.
and spanked them.
They did.
What, 29-0?
33.
33-0?
Yep.
Cameron had how many touchdowns? 2?
2.
Why was everyone saying 3?
I don't know.
No. First play of the game, intercepted. Took it for 6 points.
That's what pick 6, right? Isn't what they call that when you
Mhm.
intercept it and take it?
Yes, you're doing very well with the lingo. That means they were also on defense at the time, just so you know.
Oh, she was defending the ball?
No. Well,
Oh, she was defending it, and then she became offense. See, I'm learning. When she took possession, she was offensively playing.
anyhow, so what do you want to say about Kimmy?
Oh, we want to talk about our kids, so I just thought we'd start with her because that happened tonight.
Okay, so yeah, that happened tonight. What else?
Oh,
That's it? That's all you care about? Cameron had a flag football game. Boom. That's it.
well, that's the big thing that happened tonight.
Well, I mean, ideally, if I go to work and someone's like, "Hey, what did you do yesterday?" I was like, "Oh, kid had a flag football game." Yeah, that's cool. You know, they win. Yeah, they won. She got a couple touchdowns. Okay, well, that's the whole story. No one cares about details.
I do.
So I think you covered it. Do
So
you?
maybe that's something. Do y'all care about details? Because I care about details. Obviously, I'm gonna tell my husband, and that's who Brandon is. He's my husband.
I thought they got that with the husband and wife part, but
Oh, you said that already?
in the description.
Maybe they didn't read the description. I've been listening to podcasts and I haven't read the description at all to about any of them.
So I'm drinking my milkshake.
Vanilla milkshake. Brandon's very vanilla.
I am. And the McDonald's had, well, I mean, the machine was working, but the flavors were limited. So, all right, alternative themes for their podcast. Are there any? This is not a podcast about our son playing Fortnite or helps or anything else for that matter regarding gaming, because I could care less. But Bree did just get him a new monitor for his video games that earlier in that day she told me she was taking away from him. And then she upgraded the monitor he had so that he could play even more. Didn't make much sense to me whatsoever, but okay. He's happy. I guess that's a good thing.
Well, I think we're going to be moving screen time to just Fridays, Saturdays.
Fridays and Saturdays. How do you think that's going to go over?
I think the kids that game are not going to be happy.
Definitely need to have limits on screen time.
But I think I think this we'll talk about in our topics, but having so many children and evolving because you're learning. I mean, and each child is an individual, so you learn to parent them differently.
Mm-hmm.
But where I feel like, okay, our reins were pretty tight, and then we kind of let loose, and then we're like, oh, we need to pull back some. And I think that's where we're at right now. I think tighten the reins and some.
Do you think you helicopter parent?
No, I disagree with you on that.
Okay.
If you look at by definition of what helicopter parent is, I'm
Not
definitely not that.
Okay.
Now, other people,
Cameron,
I think what they think of helicopter parent.
come here.
You can call me helicopter parenting, But if you looked at the true definition of helicopter parenting, I don't do that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, if I knew what the true definition of helicopter parenting is.
Let's look at it.
What do you think it is before I give you the definition?
I already know what it is.
Okay, so what is it?
I don't know the exact words.
Called out. Okay, so micromanaging children's schedules and activities. Intervening in challenges or conflicts that children could handle independently. Overseeing academic, social, and even personal decisions.
Yeah, I don't. I let the kids work it out. I'm very pro. If you have
call Skylar on this one.
If you have a problem with someone, now I've had parents come to me and say, "Hey, we need to intervene. This child, my daughter and your daughter," and I'm just like, let them work it out. I don't think, based on all the information I had, I didn't think we needed to intervene, and I didn't intervene. Now, I will say my parenting, I'm going to look at afar. I mean, obviously it depends on how old they are and like what age. Like, if my child is starting to do poor in school, or I wouldn't say poor, but not up to their normal academic.
All right, well, tell me this.
Oh.
I'll pause you.
Pause.
Don't give me the look. Your oldest kids, you parent one way. And then over time, with the younger kids, your parenting has slacked. Right? So, like, the oldest couldn't drink soda till she was 19. The youngest, he steals your Mountain Dew at 10 a.m. or 5 a.m., whatever.
5 a.m. I'm asleep at 5 a.m.
If he wakes up in the middle of the night, maybe. Yes, 5 a.m. is the middle of the night. So with that being the case, considering that, do you think that, how would I word it? The parenting style you had for the oldest changed, or do you think you still parent her the same as you did in the beginning? Like, whenever you start parenting one kid, do you think that parenting style stays with them as they get older and then the next kid gets an easier style? Or do you think it kind of generalizes to each child?
So I think, I would prefer my children not to ever drink my Mountain Dews. But.
Or root beer.
I think when it's hard because same with like video games or technology, and I think other parents listening would agree because I've talked about this before, is it's here in the house. Like they see the older kids doing it. They want to be, like them, whether it's candy or anything. I mean, it could be good stuff, healthy stuff too, strawberries, something like, oh, they're doing it, I wanted to try that. So I think I become more lax because then this child, say like they're 5 years apart, they're just in different areas. So then they're like, oh, well, this one's doing it. Same with like a Switch, Skylar and Cammie, I guess, I don't know, how old were they when they got a Switch?
I think they all got it at the same
12?
time. 12? But they might have been 12 when they came out.
Well, no. But what I mean is she didn't have a DS. She didn't have a Game Boy. Like, she didn't have anything.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have anything.
Yes, they did.
Did they?
Yes.
Like what?
I just told you, Nintendo DS's.
Yeah, that was like 20 years ago.
She's 19 years old, and they had DS1, DS2. Put it this way, all of her friends.
For me. But go ahead.
All of her friends.
Talk about Skylar having a Game Boy now. That was not when I was a kid.
And they made them again too.
Okay. Continue.
Okay. All I'm saying is Skylar's, because I had a coworker. I'm not going to say any names, but I had a coworker that had children that was Skylar's age, and she had older kids though. And I was just like, wow, her kids have all this video games and like Skylar, you could appease her with her books. But now I understand looking back how her older kids had that stuff. So then the younger kids wanted that stuff. So I do think we should have put our foot down and said, no, when you get this age, then you can have this. But oh yeah, they had, I don't know, DS's and all I mean, they had all that stuff out since we were kids. And what was the other thing that was popular that her kids had? What are those things? They had just played music. iPods. Yeah, I never had one, so I don't know anything.
There was
about
another
it.
name for them too.
The
Android version, whatever that was.
But they had those, and I'm like, why do your kids need these things? And I think it was just because the older kids had them, so she's got her younger ones, and so I think it's good to recognize and then some kids can handle, whether it be responsibilities.
You know how cool I thought I was whenever I first got an iPod?
I didn't even know really what they were.
I had the little micro clip one.
I know, I knew what you're talking about. I don't even really know what they look like.
I could ride my motorcycle and I could put my earbuds in or my headphones with a wire, and I could ride through town, listen to my music. I thought it was cool. Can't do that anymore. Well, I guess you could still do that, but without all the wires. So
It's really loud.
I'm listening.
No, I answered your question.
Sound like you said you answered my weapon.
Question.
Yeah.
It's a lot of background noise you're making.
So cool. Yeah, I was just thinking perhaps we parent each kid. Like I forget where we heard it from, but someone we listened to was like, "Oh, as you have more and more kids, your standards for how you do things or handle things, they drop."
That was Dr. Pear.
Did you hear that dog? You have to explain that's the noise they're hearing. It's the dog scraping his crate.
It wasn't.
Anyhow, it's Titus, the
That
one-eyed.
sounds horrible. Scraping his crate. He moved and his nails were tapping on the bottom of the crate.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I see you, Enoch. Now my son's coming out. Anyhow.
Your son? I thought he was our son.
He can be. Where was I going with that?
You don't even remember. See?
I don't.
Y'all, this is what I deal with. Dr. Pear saying you lower your standards. Oh, please don't tap.
That's it. See? That's what I mean. You got to explain to people what they're hearing, because they don't know otherwise. It's like, listen to R.C. Sproul and he's writing on his chalkboard. Oh, now you're hearing all the background noise.
No,
now.
It's you.
You didn't hear any of the background noise before, but now you're picking up on it because I'm pointing it out.
No, I've heard it this whole time.
But you didn't say anything about it?
It wasn't bothering me.
But now I brought it to your attention. Now it does. And now your other child's coming out.
They're watching YouTube.
They're watching YouTube?
Thank you
better go
for
tell
telling
them
me.
no.
No. See?
No YouTube.
We have our little reporter.
Yes, it has to be.
She knows.
Okay,
we're
you
not
tell
supposed to.
Elijah no YouTube. All right, so I'd say that's good for today. We'll post this, I guess, and we'll ask for feedback. We're not going to post asking for feedback, but we will post saying, hey, listen, and then you can comment your feedback on what you'd like us to talk about so we can come up with a script.
Yes, we don't need feedback. Like
We don't need to know how
criticism.
bad it is. We
Yeah.
know all that.
We don't need all that
We're going
yet.
to listen to this too and take note of all the things we need to cut out. But otherwise, you can just post in
Topics
comments.
or even questions. We might do a Q&A at some point.
Q&A, all the above. How old's too old for a child to have a pacifier? How old's too old for a child to sleep in bed with their parents?
How old is too old for them to have their stuffy and snuggle with it?
Well, that's okay.
Is it? I mean, some people might not think so.
Anyhow, let us know what you think, and next time we'll drop a lot more because we'll have more time. So, but we didn't want to leave everybody hanging for too much longer. We wanted to get something out there. So, hope you all have a good evening. Stop trying to. I don't know what you.
I'm hungry.
What are you doing, Bigfoot?
I'm hungry.
Okay,
All right, Bree.
she's
Anything
hungry.
you got left to say?
Nope. That's it, y'all. We will have more next time.
All right. Peace out.
Over and out.